Hi guys. So today we are going to switch gears and we're going to start talking a little bit about stop motion animation. And I want to give you a tutorial on using the app Stop Motion Studio to create some stop motion animations. So we'll kind of go through the whole process of how you create it and as well as how you export it out so that you can upload it to Schoology. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is we're going to need to go down into your app store here. I'm going to click on my app store. I'm going to go to search and I'm going to type in stop motion studio. It'll come up right here. And there's a couple different options. There's a paid version, which will be like about $5, but there's a free version, which is blue. That's the one you want to get. If you really enjoy what you're doing and you want to have more features and more options, you can get the paid version. It's not very expensive to have a fully functional animation program, which is kind of cool. So go ahead and download that and install it on whatever device you're using. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to open that up. And so I'm going to come in here. I'm going to click on the blue one. The pink one is the paid one, so I'm going to click. Okay, and so when you open up the program, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have this big fish short film that somebody from the studio built, and then you can create your own options, okay, your own animations. So I'm going to go ahead and click New Movie, which will bring me to this screen here. Dismiss. Now, you've got a few options here. Off to the right, there is that question mark. If you click on that, that just tells you what all the different things are. So it's kind of helpful if you're not sure what something is. You can click on that and it will tell you, okay? Now, before we get started actually creating your animations and taking your pictures, there's a few things we want to do, and the first thing is understand where your options are, which is the little gear button down in the bottom left. So I'm going to click on that, and the first thing that's going to come up is this right here, which is your frame rate, okay, your frame speed. So your default frame speed when you pull this up is going to be 5 frames per second, which isn't very much. And so if you do your animation at 5 frames per second, it's going to be really, really choppy. So I would recommend pumping this up to about 10. Okay. When we work in Maya and we're doing 3D animation, we're working on 24 frames per second. For something like this, which is stop motion animation, we want to probably do about half of that, right? So we're gonna, but to keep things simple, we're gonna do about 10 frames per second. So I know if something's gonna last two seconds, I know it's gonna be 20 frames. So it makes it easy to do the math. And you'll get some pretty decent results with 10 frames per second. Okay. The other thing we can click over it to is if we go 3 over is your aspect ratios, and you can choose what kind of aspect ratio you want. I tend to like the widescreen. Oops. I tend to like widescreen, so I'm going to actually click on this one right here to give me the widest frame possible. Gives you a very cinematic feel. So then I'm going to hit done, and now I'm pretty much ready to go. So if I up there where it says tap here to add some pictures, I'm going to click on the camera button, and it'll take me to my capture screen. Okay, so now this is where everything happens, and so we're going to do a very quick, simple animation here using nothing but my eraser. Okay, so I'm going to put this off to the side here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a few different ways you can capture your pictures. First of all, I can just press the button here, just like this, and it will take my first picture. And if it doesn't look like I did anything, but if I arrow back here, you'll see that there's a picture in my timeline. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my camera here, and I can continue to just move things around. So I'm going to move my eraser onto the screen, maybe right about there, and I can take another picture. Okay, and then I can move it onto the screen again, and I'm going to start to turn it, maybe something like this, and I can take another picture. And if you notice, it's got this transparency, right? So you can kind of see where the previous picture was, which is really, really handy. Now by default that is not turned on, so what you'll want to do is come over here to the left and use this slider right here. and you can actually turn that onion skinning on so that you can see where your last frame was. And so I'll do something kind of like that just so it's very easy to see, and then I can continue to take my pictures and capture my images. Now, I can continue to do that just by pressing the button, but above the record button, you'll see that little timer, and that becomes really, really handy. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that timer and show you a different way to capture your images. So right here, I'm going to just decide how many seconds I want to have to pass before the picture automatically takes. And so I'm going to go to say like 3 seconds right here, and then I'm going to hit done. So now when I hit my record button, it will give me a 3-second countdown before it takes the picture. So let's go ahead and move this a little bit more, and I'm going to go ahead and hit my button. You'll see it count down. It's going to take the picture. Then I'm going to move it. It's going to take a picture. I'm going to move it. It's going to take the picture. It's going to move it again. Take the picture. And you kind of get the idea here. Now, I've only got 3 seconds to kind of move everything out of the way, so you got to be quick. If 3 seconds is a little quick for you, you can change it so that it takes a little more time. And I'm just kind of rotating and moving to make it seem like my eraser is rotating out of the screen. Now that I'm done, I'm going to hit stop. And if I play this, the little play button underneath the record, you'll kind of see where we're going with this. So if I arrow back now, you'll see my timeline is right here. You can scrub through that. I can hit play, and my eraser is just sliding and rotating through my shot. Okay. Now, when I was pressing the record button, I was moving the camera a little bit so you can see the little camera shake. It's kind of like a little jittery. So you want to make sure that your camera is very stationary and not moving. That's why a lot of times the timer becomes really, really helpful. Okay. All right. Now, let's say that I'm satisfied with my animation. Everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and pause that. There's a few options that I can show you. You don't have to do this, but I want to show you what you can do. If I go over to the left here, there's that plus button. And then there's the record the microphone button. The microphone will allow you to record dialogue or record sound effects if you want to use those, and then put them into your timeline. Okay. If I go to the plus button and click on that, it allows me to add images. There's titles and credits, audio, video clips. You can add all of this stuff into your timeline if you want. If I go to audio right here, it will allow, it's got sound effects in here, it's got theme music, but if you want to use those libraries, the theme music and the sound effect library that they have in here, you have to have a paid version. So unfortunately you won't be able to use those unless you go spend a little bit of money to get the pro version with all the unlocked features. However, there is the recordings right here off to the left, and the library sound, or like your music library off to the right, which you can use because those are yours. So if you record your own sounds and dialogue, you're welcome to use those. If you have your whatever music you have on your phone, you can import in here and use that into your timeline. So then, like for a library, I would go to, like, say, songs. I would click on a song, and then you'll see that in my timeline there's a little music tab right there. Okay, and that means that the music that I've selected is going to start on that frame. Now, if I wanted to come over here and I didn't want the music to start till frame 5, this frame, I would add the audio on this frame, and that's where the audio would start, whether it's a sound effect, dialogue, or a music track. Okay, so those are options for you guys. Now, let's say now that we're all completely done. Okay, I'm going to arrow back here to my project page. Now I have my stop motion movie right here, all ready to be exported and turned in if this was an assignment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the top right corner where it says select, and I'm going to select which project I want. And you'll see up here in the top left corner here, there is the upload button. I'm going to go ahead and hit the upload button right there. And the first one is export movie. So this will allow me to export it. And then it wants to know where I want to export it. And I'm just going to save video down here towards the bottom. And I'm going to click on that. Okay. So now it wants to access your photos because it's going to put the exported video into your photos folder on your phone. So I'm going to hit OK. Alright guys, and so once we exit out of the app and go back to our home page here, I can go click on Photos, and then you'll see that right down here at the bottom, I have my animation in a video, and it's that easy just to have it right there and turn it in. Okay, so if I go back out here and I go to school, I'm going to go to Schoology here, pull it up. I can go to my class, we'll go to courses, 3D graphics, I can go to the project, which is right here. This is your first project, and then you will have a submit assignment option where you would then just go find that video, your animation in your photos folder and upload it. You're good to go. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Feel free to email me, message me through Schoology, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Okay. But I hope you guys really enjoy this. I know this is a big change of pace from what we normally are doing. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Have a good time with it. And enjoy animating using stop motion this time. And again, as always, let me know if you have any questions. Okay? Have a good time.